Beneath Adelaide's charming streets and historic buildings lies a chilling truth few dare to explore. From haunted pubs and ghost-filled arcades to eerie museums hiding the cries of the forgotten, this city is a playground for restless spirits. Shadows whisper, footsteps echo in empty halls, and some say the dead still roam among the living. Are you brave enough to uncover the spine-tingling secrets of Adelaide's most haunted places? Step into the darkness, if you dare. If these chilling tales sent shivers down your spine, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more haunted stories that will keep you up at night. Your click helps the ghosts live on. 1. Kapunda Cemetery. Kapunda Cemetery is one of the most haunted places in South Australia. It is located in the small town of Kapunda, just over an hour's drive from Adelaide. This cemetery has a long and dark history that goes back to the 1800s. Kapunda itself was once a booming mining town, but over time it became known more for its ghost stories than its copper. Many people believe that the cemetery is cursed, and even locals avoid going there after dark. The cemetery is old, with weathered gravestones, twisted trees, and a quiet, unsettling atmosphere. Visitors often say they feel watched, even when no one else is around. Some have reported hearing whispers in the wind, or footsteps following behind them on the gravel paths. Others speak of sudden drops in temperature and strange shadows moving between the graves. Paranormal investigators who have visited the cemetery say their equipment picks up unusual energy, and many have captured ghostly voices on recordings. One of the most chilling stories is about the ghost of a young girl named Mary or Ruby, her name differs in reports, who died under mysterious circumstances. Her spirit is said to appear near her grave, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, her face pale and her eyes hollow. Some say she cries softly at night. There are even reports of people seeing her walking among the tombstones, only to vanish when approached. A few brave locals have described being touched by invisible hands or feeling an icy breath on their necks, especially near the far end of the graveyard. Adding to the horror is the town's dark past connected to secretive religious rituals. Stories have spread about satanic practices and ghostly apparitions linked to the area around the cemetery. Whether or not these tales are true, they have become part of the town's eerie reputation. Today, ghost tours are sometimes held at night, but many who attend say they regret going. Even in daylight, the place feels heavy, like the dead are not resting. Kapunda Cemetery isn't just a resting place for the past. It's a place where the past still walks, silently watching those who dare to visit. 2. National Railway Museum, Port Adelaide. The National Railway Museum in Port Adelaide may look like a fun place for train lovers, but it hides a very creepy and haunted side. This museum is the largest of its kind in Australia and is home to dozens of old locomotives and railway carriages. Many of these trains come from different parts of the country and carry with them not just history, but also dark stories. Over the years, people have started to believe that something ghostly lives among the engines and empty carriages. Visitors and staff have reported strange and scary experiences inside the museum. Some have heard footsteps on the metal floors when no one is around. Others have heard doors slamming shut by themselves and voices whispering in empty train cars. One of the most terrifying claims is that some people have seen shadowy figures standing at the far ends of the train sheds, watching silently before disappearing into thin air. One ghost that many believe haunts the museum is that of a man who may have died in a train accident long ago. His spirit is said to wander the carriages at night. A few people have claimed to see a figure in old railway uniform walking along the platform, only to vanish when they get closer. There are also stories about a woman's voice crying out from one of the passenger cars. Even though it's been locked and empty for years, some paranormal investigators have done ghost hunts at the museum. They bring special equipment that can detect strange energy, and many of them say the National Railway Museum is one of the most active haunted places they've visited. There have been sudden temperature drops, strong feelings of being watched, and even ghostly voices caught on recorders. Even in the daytime, some guests say they feel uneasy walking through the dim train sheds, especially when they're alone. The long, quiet rows of old trains seem to hold secrets that no one really understands. The museum might be about the history of trains, but to many who visit, it feels like the ghosts of the past are still riding those tracks, refusing to be forgotten. 3. Thebarton Theatre. The Thebarton Theatre in Adelaide is known as one of the most haunted theatres in South Australia. It was built in the 1920s and has seen thousands of shows, movies, and performances over the years. But behind the bright lights and laughter, there are chilling stories that have made this old theater a place of fear for some. Many believe that ghosts from the past still walk its dark hallways and empty seats when no one is watching. Staff and visitors have reported strange things happening late at night or when the building is quiet. Lights have been seen flickering on and off without reason. Cold spots suddenly appear in certain parts of the theater, even when it's warm outside. Some workers have said they hear footsteps walking on the stage when it's empty. Others hear whispers or strange tapping sounds coming from the balconies. The feeling of being watched is so strong that some people refuse to go inside alone. One of the most well-known ghost stories from Thebarton Theatre is about a man who is believed to have died there many years ago. Some say he was a worker who had an accident backstage. People claim to have seen his shadow moving behind the curtains or felt his presence in the dressing rooms. There are also stories of a ghostly woman in old-fashioned clothing who appears in the audience seats. She sits still, watching the stage, then disappears without a trace. Some performers who have used the dressing room say they've heard knocking on the walls or felt someone touch their shoulders, even when no one was there. One artist even left the building and refused to perform after seeing a figure staring at them from the mirror. Paranormal investigators who have visited the theater believe it holds strong spiritual energy. Some have picked up strange voices in their recordings or strange movements on their cameras. Even though the theater is still used for shows and concerts, its haunted reputation continues to grow. Some say the spirits are attached to the memories of the place, refusing to leave. Thebarton Theatre may entertain crowds with music and art, but when the curtains fall and the lights go out, something else seems to come alive in the dark. For St. Cecilia's Mansion. St. Cecilia's Mansion in South Australia is one of the most mysterious and haunted buildings in the region. Built in the early 1900s, this grand home was once a place of music, beauty, and peace. Over time, it was used as a private house, a school for girls, and even a religious space. But now, it is better known for something much darker: its ghostly presence and terrifying stories that surround it. Visitors to the mansion often speak of a heavy, strange feeling as soon as they step inside. The hallways are cold, even on warm days, and the silence feels unnatural, like the house is holding its breath. Some guests have seen doors open and close by themselves. Others have felt sudden cold breezes brushing past them, even though all windows were shut. People have also heard piano music playing in empty rooms, especially late at night. Music that stops the moment someone tries to find the source. One of the most frightening stories comes from those who say they've seen a ghostly figure of a nun or teacher walking the halls. She's often described as having a stern face and dark clothing. Some say she watches from the top of the stairs or appears suddenly in mirrors. A few people have even heard her footsteps walking slowly down the wooden floors when no one else is around. There are reports of objects being moved without explanation. Chairs pushed out from tables, candles lit by unseen hands, and books falling off shelves. In one chilling case, a visitor said she was lightly pushed by something invisible and left the building in fear. Ghost hunters who have investigated the mansion say their equipment often picks up strange energy, including unexplained voices and shadows moving without cause. People who stay overnight at St. Cecilia's Mansion say it's hard to sleep. They hear soft whispers in the dark and feel like someone is watching them. Some wake up with the feeling of pressure on their chest, as if something is sitting on them. Though it may look peaceful from the outside, the mansion seems to hold the pain and memories of the past, and the spirits inside are not ready to let go. 5 Old Adelaide Gaol. The Old Adelaide Gaol is one of the oldest and most haunted buildings in South Australia. It was built in 1841 and used for over 140 years to hold prisoners. Many of them lived and died within its cold stone walls. More than 40 executions took place here, and some say the souls of the dead never left. Even today, the place has a dark, heavy feeling, as if the pain and fear of the past still lingers in the air. The building itself is large, with long, narrow hallways, thick iron doors, and tiny, dark cells. It feels cold even in the summer, and visitors often say they feel a strange pressure in their chest when walking through the old prison. Shadows seem to move across the walls when no one is near. Lights flicker, and strange noises echo through the empty spaces. Chains clinking, distant cries, and heavy footsteps that suddenly stop. One of the most well-known spirits said to haunt the jail is that of Frederick Carr, the last man to be hanged there in 1964. People claim to see his ghost walking in the execution yard or standing silently in the corner of his old cell. Some visitors feel a sudden chill or see his figure out of the corner of their eye, only for it to vanish when they look directly. There are also reports of a ghostly woman who wails late at night, believed to be the spirit of a grieving wife or mother. Paranormal investigators who have explored the jail say it is one of the most active locations they have ever visited. Ghost hunting tools often react strongly in certain areas, especially near the gallows and punishment cells. Some investigators have captured ghostly voices on their recordings, whispering things like, "Help" or "Leave." People who work at the jail have their own stories too. Some refuse to go into certain areas alone. They hear their names called from empty rooms and feel cold hands brushing against their skin. Even tourists on guided tours sometimes experience sudden fear or feel faint. The old Adelaide Jail is more than a historical site. It is a place where the past is very much alive, and the spirits of those who suffered there still walk the halls, searching for peace they may never find. 6Z Ward, Glenside Hospital. Z Ward, located in Glenside, South Australia, is one of the scariest and most haunted buildings in the state. It was built in the late 1800s as part of the Parkside Lunatic Asylum, and it was used to hold the most dangerous and mentally ill criminals. The thick walls, locked doors, and dark, silent rooms were meant to keep people inside, but some believe their spirits never left. Many say the building is cursed, and the energy inside is heavy and disturbing. When people walk through Z Ward, they often feel sudden coldness or pressure in the air, even on warm days. Some feel dizzy or sick for no reason. Others say they hear whispers, footsteps, or tapping sounds coming from the old cells. Shadows move across the walls, and strange lights appear in empty hallways. Some visitors have even reported seeing ghostly faces looking out from the small cell windows. The building has a horrible history. People were locked inside for years with little light, no visitors, and very little care. Many of them died in their cells, alone and suffering. Some were said to scream through the night or talk to voices that no one else could hear. It is believed that these lost souls still haunt the building. Staff and visitors say the air feels heavy, like the pain and fear of the past still hangs in every room. One of the most terrifying areas is Cell 11, where people often feel watched or touched by something they cannot see. Paranormal investigators have spent nights inside Z Ward and captured strange voices on audio recordings. They've also seen doors move on their own and heard crying coming from empty rooms. Some have even left early, saying the energy was too intense to stay. Z Ward is no longer used as a hospital, but it is open for ghost tours. People who visit often come out pale and shaken, saying they felt something unnatural inside. Even the bravest admit that Z Ward has a presence that cannot be explained. The building may be empty now, but the spirits of the past are still there, trapped in the walls, waiting for someone to hear their silent screams. 7 Adelaide Arcade. Adelaide Arcade is one of the oldest shopping arcades in South Australia, built in 1885 in the heart of Adelaide. By day, it is full of light, people, and stores. But once the shops close and the lights go dim, a much darker side is said to come alive. Many believe that the arcade is haunted, and ghost stories about it have been told for over 100 years. Strange events, sightings, and sounds have turned this beautiful old place into one of the most haunted spots in the city. One of the most well-known ghosts is believed to be Francis Clooney, a caretaker who died in a horrible accident while working in the arcade. His body was found badly burned in the power room. Some people say his death was no accident and that his spirit has never found peace. Staff and cleaners have reported seeing a shadowy figure walking through the arcade late at night. Others say they've heard footsteps when no one is there, or seen lights turn on and off by themselves. Shoppers have also felt cold spots and heard voices whispering from empty corners. Some store owners have said that items move overnight, doors open on their own, and security alarms go off for no reason. Cameras sometimes catch strange movements, and people have reported seeing reflections of people who vanish when they turn around. Paranormal investigators who have explored Adelaide Arcade say that the activity inside is very strong. They've recorded unexplained sounds and seen glowing orbs of light. One investigator said she felt someone brush past her shoulder, even though she was completely alone. Some people have even claimed to see a woman in old-fashioned clothing walking through the hall, only to disappear into a wall. Despite its beauty and history, Adelaide Arcade has a chilling energy that is hard to ignore. People who work there often refuse to stay late or go into certain areas alone. What was once a place of joy and shopping now holds the echoes of the past. The arcade may be full of life during the day, but when the sun goes down, the spirits of Adelaide's history may come out to walk its halls once more. 8 Old Tailem Town Pioneer Village. Old Tailem Town Pioneer Village is a museum just outside Adelaide, made to look like a real 19th century town. It has over 100 old buildings, including houses, shops, churches, and even a jail. At first, it seems like a peaceful and interesting place to visit, full of history and old-time charm. But many people believe that this village is haunted, and that spirits from the past still live among the buildings. Some say it is one of the most haunted places in South Australia. Visitors and ghost hunters who have walked through the village say it feels strange, like they are being watched. The silence is too quiet, and some buildings seem to carry heavy energy. People have heard voices calling their names, children laughing in empty rooms, and footsteps walking behind them when no one is there. Doors open and close on their own, and cold winds move through sealed rooms. In the old schoolhouse, some guests have heard scratching on the chalkboard and the sound of chairs scraping across the floor. One of the most feared places in the village is the church. Some visitors say they feel sick or dizzy when they walk inside. Others have seen shadowy figures near the altar or glowing lights in the windows. In one of the old homes, a woman's voice has been heard crying, and people have felt as if someone was standing right behind them. There have also been reports of a little boy's ghost running through the streets, only to disappear in front of people's eyes. Paranormal teams have done overnight investigations and claim the village is full of ghost activity. They have caught strange voices on recorders, seen ghostly shapes on video, and had their equipment go off in empty rooms. One team even had to leave early after hearing loud banging and growling sounds coming from the jail. Old Tailem Town may be a museum on the outside, but it feels like something else lives there. The spirits of long-gone settlers, criminals, and townspeople seem trapped in time. The village stands quiet and still, but some believe the dead still walk its dirt roads, telling their stories to anyone brave enough to listen at LD Tailem Town Pioneer Village. 9 North Kapunda Hotel. The North Kapunda Hotel is one of the most haunted pubs in Australia. Located in the old mining town of Kapunda, just outside Adelaide, this hotel has a dark and creepy past. It was built in the 1800s and has seen everything from drunken brawls and shady deals to tragic deaths and ghost sightings. Over the years, people began to believe that something evil lives inside its walls, and many say the spirits of the past still remain. One of the most famous ghost stories is about a man known as the Man in Black. He is often seen standing at the top of the stairs, wearing an old-style coat and hat, watching guests silently. People have felt his cold presence and seen him vanish into thin air. Some believe he was a doctor who once worked at the hotel when it served as a makeshift hospital, and that he may have done cruel experiments in secret. There are other spirits too. A woman's ghost has been seen crying in one of the rooms upstairs. Some say she was a victim of a violent crime that happened long ago. Her presence is felt through cold spots and soft sobbing sounds at night. In the bar area, glasses have been known to fly off shelves, and staff have heard footsteps walking across the wooden floors when no one is around. Ghost hunters who have stayed overnight say the North Kapunda Hotel is full of paranormal energy. They have picked up strange voices on their devices, felt sudden chills, and seen doors slam shut without warning. One visitor claimed they were pushed by an invisible force while walking up the stairs. The basement is said to be the scariest part of the hotel. It's dark, damp, and full of shadows. People feel extreme fear down there, as if something is watching them closely. Some even say the energy in the basement feels evil. Today, the hotel offers ghost tours and paranormal experiences, but many guests leave feeling shaken. What was once just an old country pub has now become a place of fear. The North Kapunda Hotel may look quiet from the outside, but inside, something unexplainable still lingers in the dark. 10 Migration Museum, former destitute asylum. The Migration Museum in Adelaide is a place built to tell the story of people who came to South Australia from around the world. But behind the history and education, many believe there is a dark and haunted side to this building. The museum is located in what was once the site of Adelaide's destitute asylum, a place where the poor, sick, and unwanted were sent in the 1800s. It was also used as a maternity ward where unwed mothers gave birth in secret. Many of them faced sadness, rejection, and terrible conditions. Some even died there. These painful memories may be the reason why the museum is said to be haunted. Visitors and staff have shared chilling experiences. People often hear soft crying or whispering voices, even when no one is nearby. Some have felt a sudden drop in temperature in certain rooms, or a feeling of being watched. One of the most frightening areas is said to be the old maternity ward, where the ghost of a woman dressed in white has been seen walking the halls. Her face looks pale and lost, and she disappears when anyone tries to get close. Security guards doing night patrols have reported strange shadows moving across walls and doors opening or closing on their own. Sometimes lights flicker, or alarms go off without reason. Even during the day, some guests have said they felt uneasy or had to leave certain rooms quickly because the energy was too heavy. Paranormal investigators have visited the museum and recorded strange sounds, cold spots, and ghostly images on their equipment. One group even claimed to hear a baby crying in an empty room. Others believe the spirits of mothers and children who once suffered there still linger, their pain trapped in the building's walls. Even though the Migration Museum is now a peaceful place of learning, its past tells a very different story. The sadness and suffering of those who once lived and died there seem to have left a ghostly mark. People who walk through its old rooms may be closer to the past than they realize. Some say the spirits are not angry, but they are not at rest either.